Now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and it's time to kick off our last full week of musicals. This week we're starting things off with Rock of Ages, starring Julianne Hough, Diego Boneta, Russell Brand, Paul Giamatti, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Mary J. Blige, Malin Ackerman, Alec Baldwin, Tom Cruise, Bryan Cranston, Will Forte, and Kevin Nash. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. As I said in the introduction, today we kick off the last full week of musicals here on Renegades Reviews and the Casa D18 Studios channel. And we're coming into things swinging. Last week we ended things with Chicago, starring Catherine Zeta-Jones as part of its cast, and today we kick things off with Rock of Ages, which also features Catherine Zeta-Jones as part of its large ensemble. Let's get into it here, shall we? Now, our movie takes place in Los Angeles, California, in the year 1987. Sherry Christian arrives from Oklahoma with dreams of being a singer. Meanwhile, barback Drew Bowley prepares for another night of work at the Bourbon Room. Sherry's suitcase is stolen, and Drew is able to procure her a job inside of the Bourbon Room. Desperate to save the club from tax debt, the club's owner, Dennis Dupree, and his right-hand man, Lonnie Barnett, book Stacy Jacks, a detached and self-indulgent rock star who is preparing for his final gig with his band Arsenal. Drew tells Sherry about his own dreams of becoming a rock star, but he has stage fright. Learning of Stacy's upcoming concert, Patricia Whitmore, the conservative wife of Mayor Mike Whitmore, organizes a protest in front of the club. Drew and Sherry have their first date at the Hollywood sign, where Drew reveals that he's began to write a song for Sherry. On the night of Arsenal's final show, Dennis learns that the opening act has canceled. So Sherry convinces him to use Drew's band, Wolfgang von Colt, while Stacy's manager, Paul Gill, schedules an interview with Constance Sack, a reporter for Rolling Stone magazine. During the interview, Constance mentions the rumors about Stacy's difficult behavior and implies that he was kicked out of Arsenal, which Stacy denies. Stacy sends Sherry to fetch a bottle of scotch from his limo, while Constance lashes out at the once great Stacy. They recognize their mutual attraction and are about to have sex when Stacy begins to sing. Ashamed, Constance leaves as Sherry enters and collides with Stacy, causing Drew to mistakenly believe that Sherry and Stacy had sex. This in turn causes Drew and Sherry to break up and for Sherry to quit the Bourbon Room. Paul, impressed with Drew's performance, offers him a record deal as Arsenal sings the last song of their final gig. Sherry then takes refuge at a strip club called the Venus Club, where the owner, Justice Charlier, offers her a job as a dancer, but Sherry chooses to wait tables instead. However, she soon realizes that she needs more money as Drew signs to Gill's record label. While Dennis worries that the Bourbon Room will close and that he has disappointed everyone, Lonnie confesses his love for him, which Dennis, in turn, reciprocates. Over time, Drew gets thrown into being a part of a hip hop boy band, the Z Guys, as Joshua Z, while Sherry decides to go ahead and become a dancer at the Venus Club. Sherry visits the Hollywood sign where she ends up finding Drew, whose life has also not gone as planned. She tells him that she did not have sex with Stacy and has decided to return to Oklahoma as they part ways, lamenting their situation. Stacy then realizes his feelings for Constance and calls Rolling Stone magazine, only to learn that she is at the Bourbon Room looking to cover his first show as a solo act. Stacy rushes to the venue where Lonnie leads the patrons against Patricia's protest group. Stacy recognizes Patricia, whom Lonnie exposes as a former Arsenal groupie, while Drew buys back Sherry's stolen records and then drops them off for her at the Venus Room. As the Z Guys get rejected by the crowd at the Bourbon Room, Drew spots Sherry in the audience and leaves the stage. They reconcile, and Drew fires Paul. As that is happening, Sherry reunites Wolfgang von Colt on stage, where she and Drew go on to perform the song that he wrote for her. Meanwhile, Stacy, who is having sex with Constance in the bathroom, hears the song and is moved by it. 8 months later, Stacy has rejoined Arsenal and performs the song with Drew and Sherry, who is now an official part of Wolfgang von Colt at Dodger Stadium in front of a sold out crowd, which features Dennis, Lonnie, Justice, a very pregnant Constance, and Patricia, who has returned to her rock and roll roots as our movie comes to its end. A lot of the movies that I've done this month were ones that either I had handpicked or that myself and my girlfriend had agreed upon. This is one that she suggested, and I'm glad she did. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. It was so cool seeing this period piece, stuck in 1987, all the songs of the time being sung, and some really great mashups. Like the way they would trade off and combine the songs, just amazing. Like it almost makes you wonder why the songs weren't written that way to begin with. I just thought that the song choices and the way they combined and collaborated the songs together, the way they mashed them up, was so good. I thought all the actors did a great job. Tom Cruise impressed the hell out of me as Stacy Jacks, the washed up rock star. Seeing Tom Cruise kind of take a step back and not be Tom Cruise was just, if nothing else, it's worth watching the movie just to see him in the role. Julianne Hough was awesome. Mary J. Blige was great as the owner of the Venus Room. Paul Giamatti, as smarmy as ever, as hateable as ever. You know, Me and Jeff talk all the time about how you can count on one hand with digits left over the amount of times that Paul Giamatti has actually been a likable character. This is definitely his usual. This is definitely him being just that diabolical creature that you just want to go through the TV screen and punch out yourself because he's so evil and manipulative. But all in all, it was a good movie. I wish I had seen this movie sooner than I ended up doing it. I wish I had seen this movie when it first came out in theaters, if I'm being honest with you guys right now, because I wish that I could have enjoyed this movie longer. Now that I've seen it, now that I know that it's out there, that I enjoy it, it's definitely something that I wouldn't mind going back, rewatching on a regular basis because you just get sucked up in that 80s life, which I lived through. Granted, I wasn't at the age where you could go to the Viper Room, the whiskey, all those Sunset Strip Hollywood places. Wasn't at that age. But I grew up with all the music. So being able to hear all that come to life again and in these unique ways to help push the story along. So good. I definitely recommend people see this. When it comes to my rating for Rock of Ages, I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars. Over time, it may boost itself up to 4.5 or 5 stars. But I feel right now, first time seeing it, first time reviewing it, first time doing anything with it, even hearing the songs from the soundtrack. Like I said, I knew the songs prior, but hearing these versions of the songs, 4 out of 5 stars, I think, is an adequate rating for it. What do you guys think? Those of you that have seen Rock of Ages, let me know. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. Let's have that conversation, that debate, that discussion, that interaction that I'm always asking you guys for in the comments below. And make sure you guys tune in later on today, right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, as we open up the doors once again to Stat Boy's Sports Bar featuring Dory Lou. The food is hot, the beer is ice cold, and the seats are warm, so pull up a bar stool as Stat Boy Mike and Dory Lou discuss the latest in the NFL, the NHL, and everything in between exclusively on Stat Boy's Sports Bar. And then later on in the evening, both here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, on the Jeff Meacham Network, and across the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media, it'll be time once again for the flagship Talk Wrestling or Anything with your host, Jeff Meacham. 7:05 Pacific, 10:05 Eastern, immediately following WWE NXT, the flagship Talk Wrestling. And then tomorrow, back here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, will be another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. And we're going to go to Skid Row and talk about Little Shop of Horrors, starring Rick Moranis, Ellen Green, Vincent Gardenia, Steve Martin, Levi Stubbs, Tashina Arnold, Tisha Campbell, and Michelle Weeks. You don't want to miss out on any of that content right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, on the Jeff Meacham Network, across the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media, Statboy Sports Bar featuring Dory Lou, Talk Wrestling, Renegades Reviews, so much more in store for you this week and the rest of this month on the Casa channel and across the entire multiverse of media. So make sure you smash that like button, make sure you're subscribed, make sure that notification bell is turned on so you don't miss out anytime a video drops right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel or anytime we go live, as is the case with Statboy Sports Bar, Open Mic Night, pay-per-view PLE coverage, etc. Share these videos with your family, friends, loved ones, coworkers, movie fanatics, cinephiles in your life, fans of the 80s, fans of 80s rock music, fans of Alec Baldwin or Tom Cruise or Julianne Hough or Mary J. Blige or Russell Brand. Anybody you can think of that would enjoy this content in this video, share it with them. It's the only way we're going to boost my visibility up in YouTube's algorithms so I can eventually get monetized, make some money on this hard work I've been putting in these last couple years. Thank you once again to everyone who's joined me and tuned in today. It means more to me than you'll ever know. And I will see you guys next time.